Hey everyone, welcome to this daily Sidereal Astrology forecast for Tuesday, March 3rd, 2020. All right, so today we have the moon finishing resourceful Taurus, so still a good part of the lunar month to develop our grounded side, our inner strength, our self-reliance, our resourcefulness, but maybe even enjoy some of the external resources in life as well. Now, Venus, the ruler of Taurus, is in a square with Saturn here today, and so there might be maybe some restrictions or limitations that we're working within when it does come to these enjoyments, or maybe it does come to relationship matters. But by taking things for the long road and that patient, disciplined approach to these values and relationships can make this a very constructive time. And we are in the first quarter phase of the lunar cycle, which means that it's a good time to challenge ourselves in this phase of the cycle. A little over a week ago, we had the new moon, which is new beginnings in our life, and now it's good to integrate, set the intention, work hard, develop some of this energy since then. All right, so let's take a look at all of this here in more detail when we return. All right, so here's the sky for this Tuesday. And again, we are using the actual size of the constellations called True Sidereal Astrology. If you are new to the channel, definitely check out the link down below because it does change the signs from mainstream astrology. All right, so let's take a look here at the moon's placement, which represents the theme of the day, and also just what's really good to develop this part of the lunar cycle. And so in this case, Taurus the bull is a good time of cultivating our inner strength, our steadiness, our inner resources, but also externally connecting to nature or the sensual life or sometimes luxurious life, really relaxing into the material security of things. Really good time of developing this side of ourself at this time. Once we get to the very late part of the day, for those of you in the west, far west, we'll find that we'll start to feel some of this Orion energy and Gemini energy going into tomorrow, which shifts things into a little bit more of a practical and mental sphere. But for the most part, yes, great day for finishing up anything that does require that development of our inner and outer resources. So this is the first quarter phase of the lunar cycle, which means the sun and moon are in a square, and that a little over a week ago we had that new moon. And so it makes it a really good time to challenge ourselves to integrate any new shifts that have happened since a little over a week ago. And the context here is that we have the Sun and Mercury retrograde in Aquarius, suggesting that it is good to be seeing how we can really innovate things for our future visions and get into some of that eccentric, unique, different, unorthodox side of ourselves and rethink some of these future visions, in order to cultivate them. So that's where Aquarius and Taurus are two very different constellations. We have this progressive air sign, which is the larger context of the month with those visions. But right now, good to develop the grounded, resourceful side of things. So how can we integrate both that and the progressiveness, that air and earth, progressive yet resourceful and grounded in this phase of the lunar cycle. So today we do have Venus squaring up to Saturn, which is also a bit of a different energy, you could say. Venus, the planet of our values and enjoyments, who naturally does rule the constellation of Taurus, is in this square up to Saturn, the planet of what requires patience and responsibility. So a really good day to take things seriously, not too seriously, of course, but to take things seriously when it comes to our values, enjoyments, and also relationships, as this makes it a really good time to build these things for the long term. How can we, what's going to benefit us in terms of our long-term enjoyments versus just our short-term ones? Or what's going to benefit our relationships or connections with others for the long term versus just the short term? And so seeing this big picture and practicing things like patience, discipline, and responsibility when it comes to these things makes this a very constructive time. And in fact, it can be very good for building upon those values, resources, and relationships in that grounded way with this square. All right, so it's definitely the most important thing going on today. And of course, we are in that first quarter phase as we discussed. So yes, good day for integration and building things and challenging ourselves to integrate those new beginnings from a little over a week ago. And just a quick recap, we do have Venus finishing up Pisces. So when it does come to those enjoyments and relationships, really good to practice that more receptive approach to them and enjoy some of that space, presence, acceptance, maybe some spiritual time, some deep water energy when it comes to those enjoyments and relationships. And also Mars is in fiery Sagittarius, so when we are taking action and asserting ourselves, we're probably doing so in a way that's maybe a bit inspired or adventurous. There's some of that fire as well. So these are, of course, very different signs. So how can we integrate, again, this free-spiritedness of Sagittarius and at the same time having that receptivity of Pisces, and with focusing on the future visions with Aquarius, while at the same time staying nice and grounded, resourceful, steady with the moon in Taurus here today. All right, so everyone have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time for the next daily video. Take care.